We're live.
Hey guys, what's up? We just finished watching episode 9 of Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards, and I am so excited to talk about it. So many things happened. It was amazing. And I always do this in reverse. I'm your host, Melissa. My co-host is Gabby, and our guest this week is Caryn. She's a writer at the Young Books. And we're going to jump right into it. Let's talk about Bastard Bowl, you guys. Let's do it. Well, first, let's start out with Meereen. We see Daenerys finally returning, and she's not so pleased with Tyrion. But then she ends up coming up with a good plan, and she's making the people fear her again. So it's all good in Meereen again.
Yeah, I was surprised that we got that much Marine footage, I guess. That, because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting mostly just the, Jon Snow versus Ramsay Snow thing.
Too.
But, yeah, I was surprised. But I was like, wow, like impressed because, this episode, right now we're at this point where they're really giving us what we wanted. And that scene with the dragons was like what we were waiting for since the end of season.
Tell me about
the end of the first season. Like,
I've been waiting for the 3 dragons, grown dragons, to fight together already. Like, go Dracarys on their asses. I was so hyped about it.
Exactly.
I'm glad they gave us Meereen because I'm like, I felt like there was still so much to do there, and I was like really nervous that we only had 2 episodes left. But I'm glad they gave us that. And I think that there's been a lot of talk over whether Daenerys will become mad like her father. But I think that what makes her great is that she listened to Tyrion. She listened to his point of view. And she's willing to listen to other people, not just like with fire and blood, whatever. So I'm excited to see what she'll do next.
She seems she still seems very sensible. And the fact that she's not letting like this great power that she has, basically, the dragons kind of like corrupt her morals and her way, the way she wants to be as queen, So, you definitely see that towards one of the last scenes in Meereen when the salty people finally show up. I was like, oh, and they strike a bargain, and she, expects them to give up their pillaging ways, and so I was really I was surprised by that, but at the same time I'm like, because I've been listening to people's talk about how she's gonna end up like her father, going mad because she seems like she's power hungry, but I think this kind of went against that, as Caryn said, like.
I never thought that she was gonna go mad because she's always been good. Like, she's always just wanted people to be free and for people to not be slaves. I just feel like she's had to be ruthless because she's a woman in this world surrounded by men trying to kill her, and men who are being ruthless too. So she can't just be this empathetic girl who wants to free the slaves. She has to kill a lot of people too because people are doing that, and she has to play the game. So I've always thought that that's something that she's had to fall into so that she can move forward in getting the throne eventually. So I think she's more good Targaryen than the mad Targaryen.
Yeah, for real. Like, I'm glad too, because I've always rooted for Daenerys, and I felt like the last few seasons things have been really slow for her. So now that this is all happening and we're finally getting what we want and seeing what we've been waiting for, it's like exciting, and I think she's going to Westeros next season, finally.
Oh what if she sails off? What if she sails off in episode 10? I will scream.
I know. I think we all will. It'll just be us screaming, like, fucking finally.
I know. And,
I'm glad we got to see.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm glad we got to see Grey Worm also like killing somebody, just doing something other than just like standing.
I was like, Grey Worm can get it. That was so awesome. I loved that part. That was the entire sequence is badass. And then after he's done killing the 2 slavers, and Tyrion is like, well, you're alive. You go tell them what happened here with Daenerys Stormborn. Let them know. Okay?
Yeah.
I loved it. And then we finally get to see Theon and Yara arrive in Meereen. And I kind of felt the connection here between Yara and Daenerys. Like, she's kind of like impressed, like, oh, well, you're a girl trying to do this too? Let's do this. I'm a girl, you're a girl. I hate to say this, but it is kind of like a girl power moment, you know?
Yeah.
Was it just me,
I
or
was into it.
Was there kind of like a little flirtatious thing there?
I think so. Yes.
I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of, hooked up.
Yeah. I definitely think they admired each other on a different level than, just like politically.
Definitely. For sure. So I think we probably will see the overtaking of the Iron Islands perhaps next season or next episode. What do you think?
Next season, definitely. I think they need to first help Daenerys get to Westeros before we see that. So I wonder if we're gonna go back. We only had like one episode seeing Euron, and then never again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you just think about all the stuff that needs to happen next week, I mean, I don't even know where they'd have time for that.
Yeah.
So and we still haven't given. We are those two. We saw them like once, like never again.
Exactly. Like, it's just, I don't even know. Like, next week is just gonna be. I mean, from the preview, it just showed King's Landing stuff going down, and Davos wanting revenge. So we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll talk about that more during our Green Side segment.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's it for Marine, unless you guys have anything else you want to bring up before we dive into the Bastard Bowl.
No, just besides the fact that I'm gonna like Google and rewatch that scene again.
I am too. Me too. Once is not enough. So then we head over to Winterfell, and we have Ramsay, and he's having a meetup with Jon Snow and Sansa and a few other men, and they're talking about, maybe you should surrender, and they're both like, go fuck yourself. And I really loved the interaction. I really loved Sansa, and she was like, you're going to die tomorrow, Lord Bolton, sleep well. And coming up with the idea of a one-to-one combat was like, I was like, really? He's not going to say yes to that. So of course that didn't happen. And I also really enjoyed Sansa letting Jon know that we're not prepared for this. We need more men. This is what Ramsay does. And she ended up being right.
Yeah, I definitely think, I kind of like the fact that Jon, proposed a duel with Ramsay, because I think it really, like, showed the difference between the two men. I mean, not that we didn't already know that, but, I think, I don't know, I just kind of liked it, but I knew Ramsay was never gonna agree. He would rather have his army fight for him.
He's not a good swordsman, right? Because he didn't even fight once in the Battle of the Bastards, in that whole circle thing. He didn't even get on his horse.
No, he just fired some arrows. That's it.
Yeah, he was like super clean the whole time. It annoyed me. I was like, Jon was like, can't even see Jon's eyes. He was so messed up. But Ramsay is like super clean, not even like a piece of dust on his clothes, like the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that changed at the end.
Yeah. So even though I think we all knew that the Starks were gonna prevail, because we knew that like the Knights of the Vale were probably gonna come, I think they still did a really good job in making you feel kind of like, oh, maybe they won't make it, because that whole like circle formation made me feel kind of like suffocated almost, because like all the men were like on top of each other, and they're getting trampled on, and it's feeling really hopeless. I thought that was really, really well shot and really well done and really well written. So I thought that was a good job for the writers on that one.
Oh, definitely. It was so tense. I mean, I was like telling Caryn before this, I was like this the entire time. Because it's just like, I mean, like you said, you know that Jon Snow, they're gonna win, because they have to at this point. It was just a big crazy season. So we knew they were gonna win, but my thing was like, so they had to create this very intense battle knowing that most people are going to know that he's going to win. And
Yeah.
they did a great job. I mean, because it
Yeah.
felt really hopeless once they got encircled.
Yeah.
And
I
I was
agree.
thinking, I forgot about Littlefinger. 'Cause, and I thought like the Umbers or whatever they are, like
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna be like, oh, maybe we're gonna switch in the middle of battle and like fight, with John, but they didn't. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole Northern conspiracy was debunked in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when John was in the middle of that little circle thing, I was
Yeah.
like, I felt like him. I was like, I don't know what's happening. I can't see. I'm gonna die. What? I was
Hopelessness.
like, the direction of that was so excellent. Like, whoa.
Yeah. And the effects
Yeah,
too,
okay.
because there was a point where John was kind of running by himself towards the army, but then you see like the armies clash together, and you see the horses and the spears, and that was so good.
It was so surreal. And yeah, when he was like buried under the people, I was like suffocating with him. I was like, we need to get out of here. I don't know what's going on.
I was feeling claustrophobic. I was like, dude, you're gonna die.
I'm like, they can't do this to us again. No. So yeah, it was a very, very stressful battle scene, and I mean,
yes, from the beginning, when Ramsay made Rickon run to his brother, that was devastating. Like, I knew he wasn't gonna live because I knew that he had to die because he was a threat to his hold on the North because he's a true-born Stark. So I knew he was gonna die. But again, they still make you feel it. They still make you feel like, okay, maybe he'll make it, but no, it's hopeless because he's getting shot with all these arrows. And then I love the look on John's face when he sees his brother is in danger, and he just speeds and he tries to run to him on his horse, and it's just hopeless. Like right in the last second, that's when Ramsay shoots the right arrow that goes through his heart, and that was really well shot and really sad too. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I agree. I knew Rickon was gonna die, poor kid. But I mean, it just seemed that was like inevitable, and I knew we were gonna have some key casualties, and it couldn't be the important people like Sansa or John. So yeah, I feel bad, but I think they, I hope they meet up with Bran next episode. I keep getting ahead with the green site stuff. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'll stop.
I'm so glad that Davos is still alive. Oh, I was so worried.
Davos lived.
I was like, no, stay there, stay back.
I thought we were gonna get a lot more casualties, but Tormund lived, Davos lived, Jon lived. So we essentially really only lost the Giant, who was awesome, and we lost Rickon as well.
What was the Giant doing peacetime anyway? Like chill in his little hovel. Like he's there for wars.
Yeah, well, I think when the River Run people when they came, like in that moment, it wasn't even like a sheer inducing scene. It was more like, it was more like a sigh of relief for me. Because usually I share a lot when I watch a show, but for this one, I was just like, okay, thank God.
Yeah, because I'm telling, because it made you feel really hopeless. Like, you guys are not gonna win this. Like, the Bolton men are just in that circle and they're very confident in killing all these people. Mm-hmm. So when the Knights of the Vale came, I was like, oh, thank God.
It is so weird because like I figured it would happen like that. We would feel like, oh no, we're gonna lose, and then they would come, and I still got scared, and I still thought they weren't gonna come. So it was so well done.
Me too. So that is a testament to the direction and the writing. It was a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I think we also have a history of Game of Thrones like pulling like fast ones on us, like bad things. So we're just like, okay, well. They did it to us before. What's to say they won't do it now? But I think it would just have killed like the kind of entire logic of the show because again, we're getting to the end. We can't storytelling wise. We can't be going several steps back here. We need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to talk about when Ramsay ends up fleeing because he sees that his army's down. He goes running back to Winterfell itself, and then Jon follows him. And he ends up saying, okay, well, now let's do the hand-to-hand combat or one-on-one bastard bowl here. Because he's just like, well, I'm going to try to live here as long as I can. And Jon started beating the shit out of him. But I love that he got to take a look at his sister, and then he knows, like, well, she should be the one to finish him off.
Yeah, he definitely, I mean, he was going for it, and then he kind of just stopped, looked at her, and it was like, kind of like, this one's all yours.
Yes.
I like that this episode, like, he really listened to her. Like, in the beginning when she said, like, when she had her say about the battle, and at the end, he put Sansa first. Oh, well, he listened to her first. And I'm glad that, he's become that sort of person growing up that will listen to others. Same like Daenerys, willing to listen to people who might know more or who might have a greater insight into something.
Yeah, and both. That makes so much sense because, like, I mean, I think that's like what the stark difference is between, these new leaders and the ones of old, where they didn't listen to anybody. They just kind of did their thing, did what they wanted. And I feel like there's so much to learn, and I definitely think that's why we love Daenerys and why we love Jon Snow, and why we want to see them win in their own respects. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen when Jon and Daenerys kind of start circling the same ring, if they end up opposite, like as opposites or on the same team.
Hopefully they'll be on the same team. I also remember that shot of the Stark flag going down with the direwolf sigil. So now I'm thinking that, like, in the opening credits for next week, when you see Winterfell, it'll have no more of the flayed man, but it'll have the wolf back. Because that's been bothering me for so many seasons.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
I noticed that because I always pay attention to the map because it's a really cool opening, and I'm always noticing the flayed man is at Winterfell, and it pisses me off because it's the Stark's home. Yeah. So I'm really happy that they gave us that shot of them taking down the flags immediately and, like, putting the Stark sigil back where it belongs. I love that.
So you're gonna have your own little share moment during the opening credits.
Yeah. I am.
I mean, God.
There's going to be so many empty castles now, like no more Boltons, no more whatever, Umbers and Castocks. Give Tormund a castle. Give Bubbles a castle.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, they should. I mean, they totally deserve it.
Totally deserve it. Totally deserve it.
They're the new leaders of the North, so yeah.
Basically. I want to touch on a little bit on the last breath that he takes, Ramsay Bolton, when he is fed to his own hounds, and the last face he sees is Sansa Stark's, which I'm very pleased with.
I think we all are pleased with that. I think that's something that was overdue, and especially after last season and everything he did to her. Yeah, I was very happy that she gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah. I feel like no death will ever be satisfying enough for me for Ramsay. But, that was a good, close try. It's probably the best I could think of. Sansa being the one to kill him, and by his own hounds.
Yes, I loved it. It kind of pissed me off that he was in the chair all bloody, but he was still smiling. Like, I was like, you're such a psycho. You're dead. Don't you get it? You're about to die.
Nah, I mean, it's Ramsay. He's like a psychopath. Like, he doesn't react normally to situations, but I mean, he definitely was frightened at the end when the dogs were licking him, and then it was like, "Oh, stop!" They ain't gonna stop.
There's a line that he said to her where he's like, you can't kill me, I'll always be a part of you.
Yeah.
Which kind of solidifies my worries about her being pregnant. I'm just putting it out there.
No, why'd you remind me of this?
I paid attention to those words. I'll always be a part of you because his seed is in her.
Ew.
No.
Ew. Don't say that.
I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope she is not pregnant. But that's a really good way to fuck us over and get us pissed off without killing her.
I really hope you're wrong.
I really hope I'm wrong too. I really hope I am.
I mean, like, I could see what you meant by that line, and it makes sense. But I just like gonna be like, no. I don't think they have abortion in Westeros because
yes, they have the Red Lady. I'm sure she can come up with some magical word of light abortion.
Yeah, because I don't think Sansa should have any kind of reminder of that man.
No.
And they have the moon tea, which is like what they take after they find out that they're pregnant. And that sort of 24-hour pill.
Oh, okay, like a plan B.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the whole Ramsay thing's done now. I feel like for her to be pregnant, it would just bring him back. And I mean, I don't know, unless she already took care of it and it's something that's implied or going to be implied, I don't know. But I feel like we're done with Ramsay now, so for her to be pregnant, it would just be like a drag.
I agree.
Yeah, because
more of the abuse.
Yeah.
There's really no more Boltons around, so maybe nobody else would care that she does have a Bolton baby, unless like his men that were fighting with him would care about that. But I don't know. Hopefully it's not true that she's not pregnant.
Well, I don't even think
I love her last line. I'm sorry. I love her line to him that your words will disappear. Oh, I love that. The thing that she was like such a brilliant way to just end things with him.
Right.
Yes. Like you're nothing in the end. You're absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just like reminded him of his insignificance because he always wanted to be someone significant, being a bastard, and at the end of the day, she's reminding him like you're never gonna be anybody, and
you're nothing,
just besides dog food. Yep.
Absolutely brilliant. So I guess you can get into some segments if you guys want. If you don't want to touch on to anything else about the episode.
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Okay, cool beans. So you want to start with our week of the week? Do you want to start with that?
Yeah, might as well. We'll see if we can think of one.
Okay, our week of the week is somebody that we are disappointed in and that we thought sucked this episode. Not somebody that we want to kill just yet, but somebody that, just sucks. So, Gabby can go first as I think of mine.
I was gonna let you. Week of the week. Okay, it's gonna be. This is gonna have like zero explanation behind us, but Littlefinger, because even though he came and saved the day, he's gonna have something up his sleeve that's gonna kind of fuck over Sansa and Jon. I'm sorry for swearing, but
I was gonna talk about that in the green site segment. Like I was like, I don't trust him still.
Yeah, I don't trust him either, and he looked very smug when he was like standing or next to Sansa. So I am gonna say he's my week of the week because I'm just hoping that whatever he wants isn't as bad as I can think of. I don't know.
I think he wants to tear them apart, Sansa and Jon. That's what I think. But I'll talk about it more in the green site segment. I'll say more.
Sounds good.
Okay. And Caryn, do you have one?
This is like really going out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Tyrion, mainly because I was like, of him like oh no, things are up on the rise in Marine, and the place is like burning down. And his little like arrangement that he thought was so smart with the masters didn't work at all. So I feel like he kind of did redeem himself in the episode by sorting things out. So yeah, it's a bit of a like, if I have to pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should let my viewers know that it's usually easy for me to pick a Reek of the Week, but I cannot think of one right now. Can somebody give me one, please? If I didn't think of it, I can't think. I don't know.
I don't know.
Just that we only got 2 locations this week, so I don't know who to pick.
I know. I mean, the Red Woman. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, can I say Ramsay because he killed Rickon? Can I say that? He killed Rickon. He died. It was good. I just can't think of anybody else.
Yeah. No, I think you could pass. I mean, really, we're stretching here.
I know.
What did the Red Woman do, though? Like, she did nothing in that battle.
I know. She really did.
I know. Yeah.
She's kind of just pouting, sitting around. That's all she does.
Well, she could be my Reek of the Week because she didn't conjure a shadow baby, right? But she needs royal blood for that, right? Am I mistaken?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Because she put those leeches on Gendry last time.
Yeah. Maybe Jon Snow then for not listening to Sansa right away.
And then he redeemed himself later. I don't really think it's fair to give anyone a Reek of the Week title this week.
Yeah, so I'll just pass on mine. I'm sorry to let you guys down. I'm not picking one, but this episode is really tough. Okay, so we can go on to the next segment, easier segment. It is the Lord/Lady Commander of this episode. And this is where we kind of pick the person we think owned it this episode, our MVP, somebody who had the best moment, the best scene, the best line, or whatever it is you want. And, okay, so for me, my swingless sword, because I saw that written here.
Oh, sorry. Did I put the wrong one?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's late. I'm thinking about Ramsay right now.
She wants to kill a dead man. My lady commander is Sansa. From beginning to finish, she was highly impressive. You know, from the first meeting she has with Ramsay since she's escaped from him, she's very confident. She put up a good front and let him know that you're going to die tomorrow. Even though in the next scene she's letting her brother know, like, things are not looking good for us. And I liked how she let him know, like, you don't know him the way I do. I spent time with him. I've lived with him. You can't trick him. He tricks you. He's psycho, basically. And I also loved her moment where the Knights of the Vale come through and she is up on the hill watching this all go down, knowing that she's got her home back and she's smiling on top of the hill. And I also loved the last scene that she has with Ramsay where she smiles again at his death. And so, like, it's, like, very rare that the Starks get what they want on this show. So when it does happen, it feels like it's an even bigger moment. So I really loved that she got to see him die and she got to hear his screams and she smirked away and walked away from him. And she just never has to see him ever again. So she is my lady commander of this episode. How about you, Gabby?
Sansa's also my lady commander of the episode for the exact same reasons you just said. But I also do want to kind of give a shout out to Daenerys for really, taking those dragons, being queen. Yeah. So yeah, it was a great episode, and I definitely think, but I think Sansa owned it. I think she, ultimately saved them.
For sure. And you, Caryn?
I was also gonna say Sansa, but okay, I guess I'll pick second best. No, I love the fact that, as I said, she listened to Tyrion, that she utilized all of her resources. She used the dragons. She used her really smart advisor. She used even Grey Worm's lethal killing. She used what she could, in order to, and she didn't burn the city down. She made sure that it's still sort of in working order. You know, she took in what she could from the Greyjoys, and she still encouraged them, like, you know, no more raping and pillaging and all that stuff. So she's, you know, she's using what she can get. She's using her resources, but she's also, I guess, like, trying to change things for the better. So, yeah, that's quickly thought of a Danny argument.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely delivered this episode. So I mean, we got some great girl power going on finally in the show.
Definitely. I also liked how she kind of let the men go. The men that Grey Worm was like, you have a choice here. You can die or you can go home.
Yeah.
And they went home. So I love, like, you know, like, she has some mercy, you know. So she's not mad. She's good. For now. Okay, and our next segment is our Swing the Sword. Now you can bring it up, Gabby.
Sorry.
It's okay. Our Swing the Sword is our segment where we want to kill somebody. But I think we already have somebody that we wanted to die. But we're going to go ahead and try again. Okay, let's do this. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Oh, Ramsay. Oh, can I kill him again? I mean, let's be real right now. I mean, I think that's the one. I mean, everyone went in this episode like wanting to see Ramsay die, and we did. Yeah. So I'm very happy about that. I don't think there was like.
I'm trying to think.
So that I want dead. I mean,
everybody was awesome. I don't want to kill anybody. I'm trying to think.
I think I kind of want to kill Melisandre now, because I mean, she hasn't done anything since she brought Jon Snow back. And seeing Davos by the pyre with holding Shireen's little stallion thing, like, just made me so sad. And I was like, you did this. I totally forgot that you did this. You killed this little girl for nothing. And yeah, I think if she doesn't do anything significant soon, I feel like her time is up.
She needs more royal blood around her to sacrifice. So that she can do another shadow demon baby. As far as the Shireen thing, that was terrible, and I feel so sorry for Davos. But at the same time, I don't think she should die because she is a powerful being. Like, she had the power to bring back Jon, and we've seen her. She can not die from poisoning. She's produced this shadow demon thing to kill people. So I feel like it'd be kind of a waste to kill her, even though she has done terrible things. She should still stick around because you never know when we're gonna need to be brought back from the dead again, or if we're gonna need a shadow thing to kill your enemy. So I think she should stick around.
I mean, I'm kind of curious what's going on with her because she hasn't been the same since she brought back Jon Snow. She was always in everyone's business. She was always kind of like inserting herself, trying to like manipulate or whatever. I don't know, you know. And in this, like, ever since she brought him back, she kind of was like so subdued. She kind of put herself in the background. And I mean, we had that scene in the beginning where you saw her as an old woman. And I mean, I think there's more to that than just like the fact that we finally find out that she's really like super old, but that I think she saw something that really unsettled her, or the fact that she brought him back, or there's something going on that's unsettling her so much, and I feel like it's not something we know yet. I don't know. What do you guys? I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I always wondered why they showed her really old, because that hasn't really come into fruition yet. Like, besides letting us as the audience know that she's 300 years old, like, that hasn't really factored into the storyline, really. So I always wondered, like, why did they show us that? So maybe we haven't seen that storyline develop yet.
I always just figured that it was like, it showed us that the Lord of Light is kind of real. Like, like he's not like the god of the sevens or whatever, those high where the sparrows are, like, we don't know if that god is real. We haven't seen him do anything or them do anything. But the
Mm-hmm.
Lord of Light is actually making sure that she is looking young and hot. Like, that's
Yeah.
just by prayer or whatever. So, I don't know. It showed us that, she does have the power to bring Jon Snow back. Like, before that, we assumed it, but we didn't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, but I mean, I figured I thought we would learn more about maybe her past, maybe she knows something, because I mean, you can't be that old and not have seen more than just Stannis. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I definitely think. I mean, I hope the confrontation between her and Davos next week kind of reveals something more there, because I mean, we had this one type of character for so many seasons, and now we have, this kind of new version of her, and I'm just curious how that happened. Like, why
Yep.
besides the obvious?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. All good points. I agree. And we can finally delve into our green site segment where we kind of talk about what we think is going to happen in the next episode or maybe next season with certain characters and storylines. It's kind of like our little fortune telling segment. It's this green site segment. So I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier about the whole Littlefinger thing. Um, I think he's going to drive a wedge between Jon and Sansa, and I think Sansa's going to choose wrong. I think she's going to be driven away from her brother, which breaks my heart because I love seeing the Starks together. So I think that's going to happen with them, with Littlefinger and Winterfell.
I mean, I hope not. I mean, I could see that happening because after what just happened, with this battle and her, and Littlefinger coming through for her and helping them win and get her home back.
Mm-hmm.
But and then there's also the fact that her and John, since the beginning never had the greatest relationship, and we know Littlefinger knows that, and he was going to use that to his advantage in whatever way he
Mm-hmm.
needs to use it. So I could see that happening. I don't know. I just hope that's not the case because I hope, Sansa has changed so much since the beginning, and I hope that she realizes like the sincerity in her brother and that how even though he doesn't quite know her, he's still willing to get to know her. You just have to give it time because like literally they've been through so much in like the past few weeks. It's been weeks, right? Or days? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I mean, since they got reunited. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope Bran. I mean, I'm pretty sure word's gonna spread fast that the Starks have Winterfell back, and I hope that's kind of like a beacon for like Arya and Bran. They're like, oh, let's go home and see our,
Yeah.
our brother and sister, and then it's like all the Starks, yay! That's my green site, all the Starks, yay!
I really hope that Sansa sort of like outsmarts Littlefinger. I feel like he underestimates her so much, but she's the one who has watched him like with all his ploys. She knows she's the
Yeah.
only one alive that knows that he's the one who killed Jon Arryn and started the whole War of Five Kings and all that stuff. Oh, well, the one before. Well, so I mean, I feel like she has a lot of the power, and he doesn't know that. And just like I hope that instead of making her weak again, they use the skills that she's learned from him and Cersei and all of the people who've like mentored her before to
I
sort of
know. Yeah.
to work to totally like utilize Littlefinger for like milk him for all that he's worth and then throw him aside. Because I
I
feel like she's the
agree.
only character who can do it.
I know.
Because
I so agree. But because he helped her, I feel like she's gonna feel like she has to do something for him. You know what I mean? Because they won the battle because of him.
Yeah, but he also helped her because he threw her in the lion's den. Like, I mean, that letter said she was like, you need to make up for what you did to me. So, I mean, it's more of his penance than hers.
That's true. I mean, because like he does owe her for I mean, he
Yeah.
still owes her for throwing her at Ramsay. Saying, "Oh, it's all right." Like, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Sansa's smart, and I mean, like we said, like she should know better. She knows how he is. She's the only person who really knows how he is,
Yeah.
and she's, you know, I hope so. Please,
I hope so.
please.
She's
Give
come
him a
such a
start
long
date.
way. She's come such a long way that would be like a big like bummer moment that like she would let him get into her head that much.
Yeah.
Or maybe she'll just like pretend to let him like get his way, and then sort of find a way around it. I mean, I'm open to that too.
It's like a Marjorie move.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then we see scenes from next week. We finally get to see this trial with the High Sparrow and everybody, with Marjorie, her brother, and Cersei. What are you guys thinking how that's gonna go down? Do you still believe in the wildfire thing? I think it could
Yeah.
happen.
Especially since Tyrion mentioned the wildfire under the city again
Yeah.
to Daenerys. So I feel like that's like the final like nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I agree. I think that city's gonna burn down at the end.
Give me
That's
one moment. I have to open the door. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
That's alright. Go ahead.
Talk amongst yourself.
Real life knocks. No, but yeah, I definitely think that next week's finale is gonna end everything on fire. I just like all those times, that what's her name says she's gonna burn that city down. I think it's really gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Time.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
We're just talking about how Cersei's gonna burn everything down.
Yes, I think that would be like a really cool way to kind of change the narrative, especially for like Dany's storyline, because we've been seeing her trying to get to Westeros. So it'd be interesting to see like if she gets there and it's all burned down, like what does she do now, you know?
Right. So yeah, I definitely think that that's like my main thing for next week.
Yeah, me too. That's the only thing I sort of know, think for sure is gonna happen. Otherwise, everything's up in the air.
I mean, yeah, it would be a really big bummer knowing, like, all the teasing, all everything, the wildfire mentions, like, don't forget about, pretty much saying, do not forget about the wildfire. It's there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like, okay, why did you mention it to us so much if it wasn't going to happen? That'll be me next week if it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I think she'll probably will be found guilty, and she's gonna be like, burn them all, Aries style.
Yeah.
Aries style. And then we also get to see a little bit of scenes from Marine next week too. And it seems Daenerys looks like she's, I don't know, she looks, because he's telling her you're in the great game now, and the great game is terrifying. So she gets spooked by something, apparently. I don't know what that could be.
I don't think she was spooked. I think they're pretty much gonna be ready to go to Westeros now, and I think he's just saying like, okay, get ready for the real Game of Thrones, because this is nothing compared to what you're about to walk into. I think that's what he was. And that's my impression of the scene, that they were like, okay, we're headed there next, and it's gonna be a totally different ball game. So yeah, that is my impression of the scene, and I think we're kind of gonna end off on their part, just seeing her fly towards it, and
Yeah.
next season's gonna be the finally Daenerys hits Westeros.
Finally. And do you think we're going to see Varys come back next episode with more alliances for her?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I didn't expect him to be back so soon.
People travel like this around this town.
I know. Like, I keep forgetting that. I mean, not ever since you guys started mentioning it to me, I'm like always like thinking, I don't know.
I
They
don't know.
teleport.
I feel like Varys is gonna be there to welcome her. So whenever she decides to land, like if it's next week, if it's next season, I feel like he's gonna be there to sort of like warming up her like bottle or something.
So, so how do you guys think it's gonna turn out for her exactly? Because she did do what she did in Marine in last episode, and now she's gonna get her ready to leave. So do you think that like all the cities in Slaver's Bay are going to abide by what she said because like they're so terrified of her?
Oh yeah, I think that's kind of done. I think the Dothraki army teamed with the dragons. I mean, I think they finally like, okay, you got to take this girl seriously, and yeah, I think that her work is done there, and
Yeah.
she's ready for Westeros. I mean, like I said, this has to start going. This has to start moving. I mean, we've been waiting for it. So she has control of her dragons. I mean, what are you waiting for?
It's true. Getting ready to go. Alrighty, so if you guys have no more green sight, I think we're good to close out the show. Yeah. We're good?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Good. Thank you so much for joining us talking about the Bastard Bowl. Let us know what you think of it. What were your favorite moments, your favorite scenes, your favorite lines? And make sure to follow us on TYF Official. Follow me and Gabby on Twitter and follow Caryn on Twitter. All of that is on the description of the video. And join us again next week. Next week we're going to have like a really fun show because all of our guests are going to be joining us and we're going to have extra bonuses in our segments. We're going to have like more of like a fun talk, you know, stuff like Shag, Marry, Kill, for characters that are dead.
Westeros edition.
Westeros edition for characters that are alive and dead because that's more interesting, obviously. And so even more fun stuff like that. And we're going to talk about the finale as well. Will King's Landing burns? Who knows? Will Daenerys still alive? Who knows? Let us know what you think. And join us again next week. Alrighty. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
See ya.